on history's The Horribly Random Death of Elizabeth Stibben, as recorded by the Weekly Chronicle in 1750. Quote, New York, June 11, 1750, Thursday, last 7th. As Colonel William Ricketts of Elizabethtown, with his wife and family, were going home from the city in his own boat, accompanied by some of his friends, they unfortunately left the Virgie flying at their masthead, and on their coming abreast His Majesty's ship Greyhound, then lying in the North River, a gun was fired from on board her. But they not apprehending it to be at them, they took no notice of it, on which a second directly followed, and the shot passing through the boat's mainsail struck a young woman, the nurse to one of Colonel Ricketts' children, in the head and killed her on the spot. She had the child in her arms, which happily received no hurt. The boat, on this, immediately put back to the city, and the coroner's inquest being summoned and evidence on both sides examined, they brought it in willful murder. Unquote. Elizabeth Stibben, the Ricketts family nurse, head was blown clean off from the second shot levied by the Greyhound, a British ship of war, while Colonel Ricketts' ship, in which she was a passenger, sailed between the Great Battery of New York and Governor's Island, on its way back to Elizabethtown. Normally under the command of Captain Robert Radham, a son-in-law of George Clinton, governor of the province of New York. That day the captain was on shore. He had appointed Lieutenant John Howe in charge of the vessel, who commanded the warning shots that turned deadly. The cannon was fired by gunner's mate James Park. This rash action was taken as further evidence of the domineering nature of the British Empire upon its colonies by many in Elizabethtown and in New York. Chief Justice Delaney, who was the head of the colonial courts, spun this sad and unfortunate event to disrepute the current administration and provide evidence of the indignant despotism which the people of New York and New Jersey were oppressed. He imprisoned the gunner's mate for murder, and Attorney General Bradley refused habeas corpus to the Captain Rodham, who was sent home for trial. How the case ended up is oddly unrecorded, but we do know that Lieutenant Howe was sent home, while Parks was kept in a prison in New York until July 27th. Unbelievably, the Governor George Clinton smeared the father of Elizabethtown's Colonel William Ricketts, the captain, also William Ricketts of New York, by saying he was a hot-headed, rash young man and that he was unobedient to the crown. But why did this happen in the first place? You guessed it, the Dutch. The series of Anglo-Dutch wars saw the beginning use of the Virgie flag tied on the front masts to signal to other ships during battle. Today, these flags are used to denote particular yacht clubs or boating groups. But during this time, as was protocol, a ship flying a Burgess crossing the harbor to go to the next colony would receive a warning shot, so it would stop and be boarded by the patrolling vessel. The governor, George Clinton himself, a few days earlier, also forgot to take off the Burgess flag flying with his particular boating group and noted that he would never make that mistake again, as it was very fearful receiving a warning shot. The idea that he received a warning shot only came out after this whole event, and probably was an attempt to demonstrate that even the governor lies under this naval code. However you want to slice it, on June 11, 1750, the nurse Elizabeth Stibben of Elizabethtown had her head cut clean off by cannon fire from Her Majesty's ship, the Greyhound. All because of the damn Dutch.